What is going on, everyone? JaangoPops here with some new Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 gameplay. This is stuff that's from this week, if I'm not mistaken. It's kind of old. I don't want to delay the intro anymore. Let's just get right into it. I have my live reaction somewhere in the bottom corner here. My live reaction to these ones, because I've already seen this Japanese trailer here. But there is some stuff in the Japanese trailer that I do want to talk about. So, without further ado, without any further delay, let's get right into it, starting with the Japanese trailer. There's mainly one thing that interested me about this one. This is the gameplay from the first trailer.
Captain America, Rocket, and Groot.
That was a bit different. Oh, whoops. Hold on. Full screen. I'm a fool. Forgot to put it in full screen. That is one of the things that I wanted to talk about. Is it says over 30 heroes, or 30 over, which you can infer as over 30 heroes, but in the what was it, the Game Informer, if I'm not mistaken, Game Informer article interview thing that happened not too long ago, they were saying that there were 27 announced characters, so maybe we'll be getting 3 more, and I'm sure that later on down the line they'll add more characters via DLC or something of that sort. But this was interesting because they had 30 characters, over 30 characters in the trailer itself, but for the announced characters that we have so far, there's only 27 if I'm not mistaken. So maybe there'll be some more news on characters in the future, the near future. So obviously I don't know what's being said, but it was definitely something about how the teamwork works in this game. Online connectivity. This is definitely story stuff. Oh, there's the this right here is the ultimate attack. I think that's Ultron. Is that Ultron? Looks weird if that is Ultron. We've got the ultimate attacks here. So the ultimate attacks seem different because, oh look, there's the UI too. That's cool. So the ultimate attacks look different because it seems like everyone's in a formation, and then they all just sort of unleash their own individual attacks, as opposed to in Ultimate Alliance 2, if I'm not mistaken, it was more of a Iron Man throws a beam at Wolverine's claws or at Captain America's shield to get reflected. Certain characters will like do other things with other characters depending on who it is. But with this one, this time around, it seems like it's, or at least the extreme attack, in which case every character uses their own individual ultimate. It seems like everyone just does indeed their own individual attack, and then that just leads to a bunch of chaotic this just a clean whoa, hold on, screen clearing attack. There we go. English is a language that I speak, I promise. Leads to a screen clearing attack that just wipes out all the enemies, and I'm sure you'll be able to do that. See how their little, what's it called, the HUD for the characters themselves are flashing. I'm sure that's an indicator of your ultimate attack. There's this map here that's interesting, because I'm trying to think, I can't recall if there's actually a map in Ultimate Alliance 1 or 2. I'm sure there was, but I don't remember exactly how it looked. But this time around there is a clear color indicator, not only beneath your character and around your character, like there's always been in Ultimate Alliance, but there's also color coding in the map, so you can see where you are on the map. They're fighting in what's almost certainly New York, against, I don't know who it is, but they're ninjas, and I think they're associated with Daredevil and Elektra. I can't remember what their name is, but it's definitely looks like New York. Most likely it's Hell's Kitchen or something of that sort. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on from this right here. Put the speed back to normal. put the volume back up.
挑めマーベル
Oh, there's
の力を結
also
集さ
this
せ
one.
命をかけた戦い
Looks like it's another group attack with, if I can even goddamn tell you, Iron Man, Thor, Doctor Explosion over here. I have no idea. Iron Man, Thor, and then certainly 2 other characters who I can't really disclose in all the chaos. Doing the ultimate team attack. I forgot. Extreme. I don't remember what it's called. It literally just showed it. I don't remember what it's called. Doing the attack, the team attack against the Sentinels. Again, I can't tell, but it doesn't look like they're in the X-Men mansion. What's it called? Is it Professor X's mansion, or does it have a special name? I can't remember. Either way, it didn't look like they were there, so maybe we'll be fighting the Sentinels and other different enemies in different places, or maybe it's just, you know, in that certain sense, in that certain scene, excuse me, you couldn't see that it was the mansion, but who knows. I'm sure that you'll be able to fight these individual enemies in their respective places and in different places where they usually wouldn't be, like Sentinels in somewhere besides the X mansion.
Marvel アルティメットアライアンス3ザ・ブラックオーダーは2019年夏発売
I know Japanese, that means July 19th. I don't know Japanese, I just assume that it's coming out worldwide. Okay, moving on to
welcome to a
the
new video from Game Informer.
exclusive Miss Marvel gameplay. This is Miss Marvel Kamala Khan, as I realized during editing in my last video. So it'll be interesting to see how she plays, because she is a relatively new character in not only the comics, but a brand new character in this game, so it'll be interesting to see how they did her gameplay. This is obviously coming from Game Informer. Link to their to the original video from Game Informer in the description below. Let's check out this
I'm Ben
gameplay
Hansen,
here.
joined by Ben
By the
Reeves.
way,
You got to
I'm
play a lot.
hold on. I'm doing this out of order. I believe the I feel like the Daredevil trailer came out first, but I'm watching that one last. I'm watching them in ascending order by length, just because I've seen the Japanese trailer, so that one I kind of put out, but now we'll be watching them in ascending length from what I haven't seen, starting with the shortest trailer here. So starting off, I can just tell you right off the bat that we are fighting AIM agents and what look to be Hydra soldiers. They look like Captain America a little bit, like how he has the helmet and the I think he has the shield on his back. I think that's what the straps are right there. They look kind of similar. In this fight, we've got Captain Marvel, Captain America, Black Widow, and I'm sure there's a 4th character off the screen here. But let's continue on.
Of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 and a recent cover story trip to Nintendo, including the new character Miss Marvel.
Ooh. Okay. So there's a couple things here. Miss Marvel. Captain Marvel, excuse me, has what seems to be a little bit of a combo ender. Obviously she was doing some pretty wide what's the word I'm looking for? Wide range attacks. Seemed like they were hitting more than one enemy at once. Hold on, let me slow it down even more, just so I can play it while I'm talking about it. She has some wide range attacks who can hit multiple enemies at once, and it seems here that she has a little when you hold down, if I'm not mistaken, L2 or LT or R2 or RT, I can't remember exactly which button it is, but it's one of the trigger buttons, one of the back buttons on the controllers. You have your 4 special abilities where you can do a beam or a buff for your team, stuff like that. So it seems like what she has here is a pretty effective combo ender, in which she does a AoE attack where she has a little energy explosion. So that's pretty cool. And here we've got Kamala Khan with Miles Morales, who also has a trailer here, and Spider-Gwen. So let's check out what's good with them. And Miss Marvel, obviously. Alright.
including the new character Miss Marvel.
This is one of Marvel's newest heroes, but she's very popular. Kamala Khan. Embiggen enlarges her fists, and then she throws them down on the ground like a hammer.
Also, fun Simpsons reference. Both Disney properties. If you play as Miss Marvel in the opening section of the game, which you can go back and do later on, there's a fun line where she sees Ronan the Accuser the first time, and she's like, am I supposed to know who you are?
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
You can learn much more about Miss Marvel over on GameInformer.com. Otherwise, subscribe to Game Informer's YouTube channel.
Okay. So, by the way, do go to Game Informer's website to check out this stuff for yourself, and of course their YouTube channel.
Khan.
So her moves are certainly different from the Miss Marvel of earlier days. The Miss Marvel of Ultimate Alliance 1, that being Carol Danvers, who was more focused on energy rays and just using her fist in general. It seems like Kamala can actually enlarge her fist and use them for AoE attacks like that. That's also, if I'm not mistaken, one of the special moves. Or maybe it's a heavy attack, I can't tell off of first glance. I can't tell who they're fighting, but you've got Kamala, Scarlet Witch, who I'm very interested in seeing. As I've mentioned before, Hulk, and I think there was a fourth person that they showed on the screen, I just can't remember. Yep, it's Groot and Rocket here. That's also interesting because you can see some of the gameplay, how those two work together, seeing as they are one character, but I'm sure he has some pretty strong, effective close range attacks as Groot, and some pretty effective wait, did I say short range? Some good melee attacks, I should say, for Groot, and then some good long ranged gun weapons or things like that for Rocket, which will be interesting because that's a pretty versatile character. Again, I can't tell exactly who they're fighting against or where they're fighting, but it looks like a factory of some sort. This is very interesting because it's not only, if I'm not mistaken, is this using the more traditional view of Ultimate Alliance 1, where it was kind of top down. Not only is it using that view, but it seems to have a little, there's these things here that are falling on top of you and exploding, so you're definitely having a, I don't know exactly what you would call it, but there's these things in video games where sometimes you'll be trapped in a room and required to defeat all the enemies, or maybe do a certain objective. Before the lasers can go down, you can exit the room. These, oh man, I can't remember what these guys are called. I can't remember for the life of me what they're called, but I do know who they're fighting against. I believe, yep, it's the same team. Hulk, Miss Marvel, Scarlet, and Groot. Yeah, this is interesting. Like I said, I think this is the classic camera that they were talking about, or maybe it's just how it is for this one section. But let's see here. Ooh, Scarlet Witch has an interesting attack. Hold on. If you wanna focus on Scarlet Witch for a second, which I'm definitely going to be doing, it seems like she has a ranged attack that does something to the enemy, as you can see with this little field around it. Maybe it's a debuff, but she also has this homing shot attack, which sends out multiple just bolts, I guess you could say, of energy out at the enemy, so that's very cool. Here we have, like I was thinking, Rocket using the a laser while on Groot's shoulders, making him an effective close range and long range character. Kamala using her oh, never mind. It looked like she had, ooh, wait a minute. If you look very closely at Kamala's movements, it looks like she holds a stance, and then right after he hits her while she's holding that stance, she does a kick as a counter. So maybe that's a counter move, or maybe she just blocked the hit and then that happened. Not exactly sure, not too clear, but if it's a counter move, that is very, very cool and interesting to see. Focusing on Hulk now, he's definitely... They have this little field around them. I wonder if they're linked together, like how in Ultimate Alliance 2 you could do Iron Man shoots a beam at Wolverine's claws, spreads it out. I wonder if it's that sort of deal, or if they both happen to be using their special abilities. It's kind of hard to tell because in this case they are locked on to the same character, as you can see, the same enemy. So they could be doing a team attack, or they could just be happening to attack the same enemy. But either way, moving past that, focusing on Hulk now, he has what looks like a seismic clap thing that'll send a shockwave to the enemy. It's really hard to tell because it hits at the same time too. So they could definitely be doing a team attack like traditional in Ultimate Alliance 2, or maybe they're just, you know, really well coordinated and they accidentally used an attack at the same time, the computer and the actual player. Either way, very interesting moves that we're seeing displayed from these two characters. And it looks like maybe that kick stuns? Yeah, no, because I don't think he's down. I think that kick stunned him. So maybe that's like that's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna go ahead on a whim and guess that what you're seeing here, when she runs away, he hits, and then she does this stance. I'm just gonna go on a whim and say that it's actually not attack, but that they just happen to be kind of coordinated like that. I'm gonna go and say that Kamala Khan has an ability where she can hold a pose, take an enemy hit, counter the hit, and then return it to get them in a stun state. And if that is the case, that'll be very interesting to see how that works into the gameplay of this game. Now, just going back to this one more time, because I want to focus on what is happening over in this corner with Groot and Scarlet. Just for a quick second, seems like this enemy has a charge attack. That's not too interesting considering you can't play as them, I'm sure, but it is cool to see either way. They have a charge attack. Groot does a little ranged attack, which I'm sure is like a heavy or something. A little vine whip sort of thing. He's not actually doing... Yeah, okay, so Groot actually, in that circumstance, was not doing any special moves. I just wanted to make sure. Scarlet, however, is using yet again this homing attack, which is very interesting. I don't know if that homing attack is her basic attack or if that's an ability. That'll be interesting to see as well, but anyways, let's move on here. Alright. Boss fight. Super duper interested in this. Looks like an Ultron bot? Maybe a Doom bot? Maybe it's just a random robot? I don't know. Ronan the Accuser. Kamala Khan. About to go at it. It's great. It's crazy. He's swinging his hammer. He has an attack that swings his hammer and it sends out a shockwaves. You can dodge it as Kamal's representing by jumping. Very athletic. Oh, wait a minute. Let me redact my previous remark and put some respect on Ultron. I think that's Ultron. I think that's just Ultron. I think you're just fighting Ultron and Ronan the Accuser at the same time. Which will be very interesting, because why would Ultron be with the Ronan the Accuser? Scarlet again using that homing attack that I'm very interested in. Looks like, as you can see, she sends the attack at Ronan and he just eats it. So as the article, if I'm not mistaken, was saying, bosses will have a mechanic where they can take hits and you have to sort of get their shields down before you can damage their actual health bar. So that's him just eating the hits and charging up an attack that looks like it's maybe a buff to himself, maybe a debuff to... Wait, hold on. I think I just got proven wrong with my previous statement. Hold on. We're seeing it again. Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh lord. I've exited full screen because I clicked too many times. I should use K instead. It's a hotkey. Hold on. Okay, there it is again. Yellow field on both Groot and Kamala. They are both targeting Ronan the Accuser, so I think it's safe to say that this is actually team attacks, and it'll have different effects for different characters, like how Kamala and the Hulk had her kick that put them in a stun state. Hulk had his seismic clap that sent a shockwave to hit him. Let's see what Kamala and Groot's is. Looks like it's a charged beam from Rocket Raccoon. Hulk just jumping right in the middle because he's about it. And then you got Kamala doing a tornado kick, which is different from her one with Hulk. And then of course we've got Ronan the Accuser just eating it because he's a boss, and that's what he does. Seems like he has a slam attack that's an AoE. I think that's the effect of it right there. Is that Ultron? Who are you? It's definitely a robot. Maybe looks like it could be an Ultron bot. I could have sworn it was Ultron, but maybe it's not actually. Maybe it just has some extra little robot homies backing him up. Not too sure. They're all ganging up on Ronan. He's just eating the hits because that's what he does. There's Kamala punching me in the face. And then there is Game Informer's website, so you can check out a full month of exclusive content. Which I will definitely be reporting on as well. It's not exclusive to me, but yeah. Alright. Also, just in case you want to check out this video for yourself, any and all of these videos will be in the description below. Gotta give credit where credit is due because I'm looking at these very in depth. And I just appreciate Game Informer for providing us with this content. So moving right along here onto the next one, Miles Morales here.
We got another video on
looks like we are back at Avengers Tower fighting these possible Hydra super soldiers who look like Captain America a little bit in terms of design. And instead of this, seems like it's a starting area because the other trailer started here too. For Kamala, I think. Yeah, no, it was for Kamala. The other trailer started here too, so I'm thinking this is just the starting area for the story. So we've got Miles Morales, the Hydra members again. Sure, there's some other 3 members here. We got some weird wormhole stuff going on here. Don't know exactly what it is yet. Got to feel it up. I'm over analyzing. Let's just let this one rock for a second. If I see anything interesting, I'll stop it. But without further ado, let's get this one rolling.
Ultimate Alliance 3. I'm Ben Reeves, joined by.
Oh, I'm Ben Hansen. Hey, Miles Morales is in this game.
I saw something interesting. I'm sorry. I saw something interesting. I literally said I wasn't gonna stop it, and then I saw something interesting. AoE attack. Daredevil. That's Daredevil. I didn't even realize it. That's Daredevil. Hello, Daredevil. So there's 2 other heroes somewhere here on the screen. Miles Morales. This looks like it's another one of your trigger abilities where he shoots out webs and they have an electric field on them, which is very interesting. I know that pertains to his character, but I wonder how that will translate to gameplay. Let's actually see right now. Well, I would say that it doesn't stun, but it just looks like it kind of missed that guy.
Oh, I'm Ben Hansen.
So it might have stunned.
Miles Morales is in this game. That's exciting.
His 4 basic attacks are web.
Oh, they're actually about to tell us right now. Okay. Let me actually shut up this time.
This game, that's exciting.
His 4 basic attacks are Web Shooter, Surprise Strike, Venom Strike, and High Voltage Lines.
It's nice to see fans are excited about the amount of electricity that he's using a lot of his attacks, I think, just to separate him from the other web heads.
So, like you just listed out, this attack right here is one of his basic attacks, one of his trigger attacks. We've got Cap here. I'm pretty sure this is the same team as the Daredevil one. Getting a bit of a closer look, I can almost certainly say that's Hydra, but I really don't know. So let's hear these names again one more time.
Web shooter, surprise strike,
Web shooter, which I'm sure is just the normal thing for the other Spider-Man characters in this one. Surprise strike, it looks like that was that lightning punch that he had done. Not too sure, but that's probably what it was.
Venom strike, and high voltage line.
Venom strike. Got that confused with the high voltage line. This is the high voltage line right here. Venom strike, I'm not sure what that is because they didn't show it, but it may have some damage over time effect on the enemy.
It's nice to see fans are excited about the amount of electricity that he's using. A lot of his attacks, I think just to separate him from the other web heads out there, are very electricity inspired here.
One of his attacks actually turns him invisible, which is a nice touch, and then he can sneak across the battlefield and catch enemies unaware.
Also, for all the Spider-Man characters in the game, you can hold B and actually swing around the environments when you're just roaming around, which is fun, and it doesn't drain your...
Ooh. Wait a minute. Wait.
It actually turns him invisible, which is a nice...
So he's got an attack here. Combo ender, kind of like I said Miss Marvel again. Combo ender almost like Captain Marvel's, excuse me.
Out there are very electricity inspired.
Yeah, he's got his basic light and heavy. If I'm not mistaken, there's heavies. I can't remember. But his basic attacks incorporate his electricity, which is cool.
One of his attacks actually turns him invisible.
So he's got an attack here, a combo ender, where he jumps into the air and strikes down using the lightning, creates a shockwave, throws the aim agent right off the damn building, rip to the homie.
The battlefield.
There's coins that pop out when you kill enemies, more respawned. But I couldn't actually see if it had a stun state sort of effect, which I don't think it does. Maybe it's just some extra damage.
Catch enemies unaware.
Also, for all the Spider-Man...
Okay, I'm gonna stop it again. Here. Just forewarning, because I saw something very interesting.
Characters in the game, you can hold B and actually swing.
Okay, so this is... I can 100% confirm it now. This is the third time I've seen it. This big yellow burst... with another character who's in between a enemy, or in this case a bunch of enemies, who's doing a attack. This is certainly, without a doubt, the team attacks for Multiple Alliance 2. So this one is very interesting because it looks like Miles is shooting using his web shooters against Daredevil's batons. And Daredevil is reflecting them.
In the game, you can hold B and actually
to hit them out against the enemies.
Environments when you're just roaming around, which is fun, and it doesn't.
And I think he's getting extra hits just from swinging the batons around. Like the enemies are getting hit then, and they're also getting hit by the webs that are being dispersed. I think they're webs.
Mana, unlike the flying characters. Miles in the game is still a little bit
very cool.
unsure about his powers. He's a line in a cutscene about I can barely do my laundry. Nintendo wasn't ready to talk about.
That's similar thing with Miles Morales. Just in general, I think he's kind of new to being Spider-Man. I thought I saw something interesting here, but it might have just been the high voltage. Web attack.
Miles in the game is still a little bit unsure about his powers.
Yeah, it was just that.
He's a line in a cutscene about I can barely do my laundry. Nintendo wasn't ready to talk about the voice actors in the game yet, but the voice actor for Miles sounds so close to other versions of Miles.
Ooh, that's a cool shot. Again, you've got Gwen, Kamala, and Miles, who are seemingly introduced together into the story.
I don't know if there's a connection there.
More of them? Are you serious? How many crazy super-powered prisoners does this stupid place hold?
That's it for this quick video. Check out GameInformer.com. There's a lot more info on his moves and details about what it's actually like to play as Miles Morales.
Alright, so I was wrong. I was 100% wrong. The people just weren't getting hit by it last time. The high voltage web attack... Sorry. High voltage web attack does indeed put the enemy in a stun state, as you can see right here on this guy. He's stunned and held within the webs, and then it looks like Miles does the surprise strike and hits him away. As you can see, there's a little lightning field around it. It's hard to see in slow motion, but I think that's what was happening. And then it looks like he does a... Nope. Okay, I thought he was doing a super attack with someone else, but I don't think he actually was. So, that is it for that one. That is it for the Miles video. in that video we saw Daredevil, Captain Marvel, and Captain America. Daredevil has his own trailer, so I won't focus too much on him. And Captain America and Captain Marvel we've seen plenty of already, so let's just move right into the next one, because the next one's 7 minutes, and I've been analyzing the crap out of these videos. So let's move right along, just so I can make sure this isn't too long. Also, yet again, check out Game Informer. Big thanks to them. Alright, I believe this is the... Uh-oh. But first... Alright.
Hello and welcome to a new video from Game Informer. I'm Ben Hansen, joined by...
Ben Reeves.
We're going to show off a lot of new gameplay for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order, our new cover story. So the game opens with Guardians of the Galaxy in space on the Milano.
This is 100% spoilers, story stuff. Let me analyze something way more than I should right now. Gamora, almost certainly the exact same model as Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, if I'm not mistaken. Almost certainly, though. I think that's like the exact same model. This Drax looks very familiar, but I don't think he's from any other Marvel game that I can think of. Star-Lord looks interesting. It's a bit of a weird look, but I don't mind it at all. I actually like how all the characters look and are designed here, but I just wanted to stop to acknowledge that this is, I'm pretty sure, the exact same Gamora as Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Just an interesting connection there. And then Groot looking very menacing over here. And of course Rocket.
Oh, it's very MCU inspired. And as you can hear, even Rocket sounds a lot like...
Bradley Cooper.
How's I supposed to know that thing was so important to him?
So like previous Ultimate Alliance games, the game is structured into chapters. So in Chapter 1, you go aboard a Kree vessel, you run into Nebula, and then you eventually encounter the Black Order. There's a scene with the Infinity Stones where then they get scattered across the universe, and the rest of the game is a race to collect all the Infinity Stones before the Black Order does.
So that is exactly what we were hearing in the article before, where it starts off with the Guardians. They're ambushed by Nebula, the Black Order, specifically Proxima Midnight, and I think one other character, but I can't remember exactly who it was. Guardians are ambushed. They have all the Infinity Stones in their possession. Being ambushed gets those Infinity Stones scattered across the universe. You must gather them, and that is how the game starts out and why the game happens. Oh, there's a Star-Lord with his mask, too. With his mask on.
Hold your fire.
It's Nebula.
For now. You certainly weren't
Her.
who we were expecting.
Oh, it's the, is that the Kree or the, crap, I can't remember. I was saying that I knew who they were fighting against, and I did know, but I don't remember their name. I think it's the Kree. Don't shoot me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the Kree that Nebula has behind her. So it seems like Nebula is commanding, or at least in some higher position, relationship with the Kree, which will be interesting.
But we will be more than glad to kill you anyway.
And here's gameplay.
I love Rocket Raccoon and Groot, so it's kind of cool that they're combined and you can play both characters.
Oh, okay. So, it looks like it's a pretty big start here. If this is actually the intro scene, you're actually fighting Nebula, who's a boss, as you can see with the white highlight around her, and, you know, just the fact that you're fighting against her, period. Very interesting that they'll be fighting her pretty much in the opening. I feel like Drax and Star-Lord were both characters in the list, but I can't remember exactly. If they weren't, there's 2 more characters. If they were, and my memory is failing me, my apologies, but there they are. So they're playing as Groot and Rocket, so their focus will be on them, but I'll try to see if I can see anything interesting with the other characters.
At the same time, I know when Rocket uses one of his special attacks, he actually
The
says,
problem being that the camera in this mode is focused on Groot, so it'll be following him around, so it's hard to see. Nebula and Drax are fighting over there. It looks like Gamora's fighting too, but I can't exactly see what's happening. I think Nebula's in a stun state with these stars, and she's on her knees. Can't exactly tell though.
Groot.
Fun homage.
Yeah. He's apparently a Groot as well.
Oh, that's their team attack right there. Not their team attack, their ultimate
I
attack.
don't know how much the footage shows it off, but Star-Lord actually like does a lot of dancing when he's
Ooh. Okay. So Star-Lord has his ultimate. This ultimate's cool, by the way. It has Groot attacking at one end, and then Rocket using a blaster at the other end. But Star-Lord's
Fun homage.
ultimate.
Yeah. He's apparently a Groot
Star-Lord's
as well.
ultimate is
I don't
very,
know how
very
much the
cool.
footage shows it off.
As you can see, he's kind of by himself with this field of enemies in front of him,
Star-Lord
but when he
actually,
uses
like,
his
does a lot of
ultimate,
dancing when he's shooting.
he's
It's
doing
very
damage
James-
and pulling in the enemies at the same time. So it's kind of like a... I can't think of a better example than this right now. Kind of abstract, but in Overwatch, there's a character called Zarya. She has a ultimate, if I'm not mistaken, it's called Graviton Surge. Throws it out. It's a ball that brings in the enemies and does slight damage over time to them. So it'll be interesting to see how you can incorporate that with using other characters, excuse me. And yeah, just playing around with that ability, being able to pull in enemies like that.
James Gunn inspired. As you can see, there's a lot going on the screen at the same time. It is a little bit hectic. The game defaults to having...
Is that? No, I don't think he was. I thought he was doing a team attack, but I think it was actually Nebula on the other side. But someone was doing like a tornado thing in the middle.
damage indicators on from the build that we played. Obviously in the B-roll, that's turned
Gamora
off.
uses her sword.
UI
That's
is turned
cool.
off as well, so expect it to be a little bit busier when the finished game comes out. But
There's that stun state. That stun state that bosses will be put in. Looks like Gamora also has a plunging attack, which we'll see in a second. But
that's
after
turned
she
off.
takes a large amount of
UI is
damage,
turned off as well, so expect it to be a little bit
that drop attack puts her in a stun state right there.
busier when the finished
And
game
then
comes out,
they
but you
can
turn the
wail
sound
on her.
timers off.
Well, we should say that they might tone some of those visual effects down before the game comes out, but you probably still want to watch this on a very big screen.
Okay. Drax and someone else? I can't really tell who the other character
Well,
is.
we should say that they might...
Because he's doing... Oh, no. I think this is just an ultimate. Because it had the yellow flash, but no one else had it on them, so I think he's actually just doing this himself. Drax has an ultimate attack where he has a
tone some of those visual
Fury
effects
of
down before
Slam, first of all, that throws some of the enemies in the air. Fury of
the game comes
Slashes,
out, but you probably still want to watch
and then
this
at the
on a
very end, he buffs himself, it looks like, because he has
very
this
big screen.
red thing around him that's going up. Usually just in games in general, that's an indicator that a character has a buff or a debuff. So I think what he does is slashes like crazy in front of him and then buffs himself.
So the game opens with
Nebula again
Guardians
there
of
in
the
that
Galaxy.
sense.
You always have 3 AI companions with you at any point to jump from.
So it looks like that tornado attack was actually initiated by
Opens with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Rocket
You
and... No, I think it was just by Rocket. So it looks like Rocket maybe
always
has
have 3
an
AI
attack that
companions with
does
you at any
some
point to jump
damage
from.
over time.
And it's jump in,
Not
jump
damage
out,
over time,
so
but,
anybody at
AoE
any time
damage.
You have a friend over, they can jump in the game, immediately jump
There
out.
are explosions happening. Someone's throwing
So this is
shit
the
at
next
you.
chapter from the game, chapter 2.
There's
you
the
actually go
boy
to
Nick
Earth,
Fury.
you-
Hold on. What? I don't even know what was happening there. There were like
They
bombs
might tone
everywhere.
some of those visual effects down before the game comes out, but you probably still want to watch this on a very big screen.
So the game opens with Guardians of the Galaxy. You always have 3
Nebula
AI
has an
companions
attack that
with
she
you
can
at any point
do from
to
range.
jump from.
And it's jump in,
It looks
jump
like-
out, so anybody at any time, you have a friend over, they can jump
Okay,
in
no,
the game.
that is not a harmful attack. That is a an ally doing it, but I can't
And
tell
it's
who.
jump in, jump out. So
Is it Star-Lord?
anybody at any time, you have a friend over, they can jump in the game, immediately
I
jump
think
out.
it's Star-Lord.
No problem
Someone was
to watch.
throwing those
So
grenades
this is the
around.
next chapter from the game, chapter 2.
And it
you
was
go
an
to
ally.
Earth, you infiltrate the raft, which the Green Goblin has taken over. And as you can
That's
see,
the Hulk, though.
that's true.
Don't
So
get
just like I
those
thought,
confused.
But now they're just introducing every character here,
Ooh.
ready to go. Earth's mightiest heroes. They want to give you everybody to choose from really early on. In the
Ooh.
game. Nice.
Within like a half an hour, it felt like we had like a dozen characters to choose from.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And humans are in this. Don't be confused though. Lockjaw you can't play as. He serves as kind of the stations where you swap your characters out.
A teleporting dog?
okay, so it looks like Lockjaw is gonna be the blue circles that you can use to maybe he's the blue circles that you can use to change your character. If not, he definitely seems like he's a beacon to use for teleportation and stuff like that, as they mentioned. I like all these character introductions. They're really nice and cinematic.
About no progress is lost.
So this is the next chapter from the game. Chapter 2, you actually go to Earth.
And
you infiltrate.
like I was saying, I was saying this before in the other video. It seems like they said, the part immediately after the Guardians is a breakout on the raft, so they'd get some people who are in New York to handle that situation. That being obviously the Avengers here, and it's all the Avengers really, all the MCU Avengers, including Scarlet Witch and Captain Marvel now, and Falcon.
The raft, which the Green Goblin has taken over.
And these
And as you can
little
see-
Hulk, though.
That's true.
the little things at the bottom are like, you know, their titles, and then like a little joke, which is funny.
Don't
Nice
get
little
those
added
confused.
detail.
But now they're
Thor's a beard.
introducing every character here.
Black Widow
ready to
has her little shock things on her. Falcon has a different costume.
go.
It's cool though.
Earth's mightiest heroes. They want to give you everybody to choose from really early on. In the game,
Wolverine is along. Well, I wonder if this is the exact same scene. It might not be the exact same scene, but it seems like Wolverine and Scarlet Witch are along with the Avengers.
Within like a half an hour, it felt like we had like a dozen characters to choose from.
Yeah. Hey, and then Inhumans.
Seems
are
like
in this.
Crystal
Don't
is
be confused,
also
though, Lockjaw you can't play as.
with the Avengers,
He
excuse
serves
me.
as kind of the stations where you swap your characters out.
A teleport
Yeah,
dog?
like he said, where you swap your characters.
Is this some kind of joke?
You know, I was just about to ask the same thing about the raccoon with the laser gun.
It's a quantum igniter. Thank you very much. And it can blast you right out of that tin can before...
Measure your weapons later, boys. If we want to survive this, we do it as a team.
So going through the raft prison, there's a bunch of lasers that you won't see here that you have to jump over, and the timing was very precise and surprisingly difficult.
But we did it because
Yeah.
we're superheroes.
Hell yeah. Then there's a puzzle area.
And there, I think, is exactly what we were talking about before with Iron Man and Wolverine's. That was also a nice little cut scene there, and that's the first scene from the trailer, if I'm not mistaken, or a little screenshot that was used from the trailer. This takes place, obviously, like I said, in Chapter 2, immediately after Chapter 1. Guardians are here with the Avengers teaming up.
So going through the raft
to
prison, there's a bunch of lasers.
go on the
that
raft
you-
prison, like you just mentioned. I don't know what's happening here. That looks like it should be Wolverine, right?
You won't see here that you have to jump over.
Yeah, that dude had claws. What the hell? That dude has claws. Anyways,
The timing was very precise and surprisingly difficult.
that's what I wanted to focus on. It's excuse me, Iron Man's Unibeam, I think it's called, being reflected off of Wolverine's claws, hitting back the beams at the
But we did it
enemies.
because we're superheroes.
Hell yeah. Then there's a puzzle area as well. We had to like use switches to open doors. in
Iron
the right
Man's
order,
beam,
so
and
they're
that
expect-
guy is just eating the beam. Oh good lord. Yeah, Iron Man's Unibeam, which is a staple for him.
Minor puzzle
He's about to get
elements
fucked
as you
up by
move
that
along.
guy.
Yeah, nothing super complicated.
They didn't show it though. It's too
I was
graphic.
stumped. Scarlet Witch is nice. She's one of the few characters we saw that can actually heal other people.
Yeah.
Now this gameplay here,
Okay.
this is actually from something
So
called
Scarlet
Infinity Trial.
Witch is a healer, or just an all-around mage, it seems, because she can also heal. But they're showcasing a bit more
Very
of her
precise and
attacks,
surprisingly difficult.
But we did it.
which I'd like to
because we're
focus on for
superheroes.
just
Hell
a
yeah.
little
Then there's a
while,
puzzle area as
because
well.
I'm
like, use
very
switches to open
interested
doors in the right
in
order, so they're expect
Scarlet
minor
Witch.
puzzle elements as you move along. Yeah.
So it seems like that attack actually isn't a trigger attack. It's actually her basic attack, and her basic attack is just homing onto enemies from long range. This is very cool.
Yeah, nothing super complicated.
I don't know what's happening here, but this guy has claws, like 110%. Those are claws, dude.
I was stunned. Scarlet Witch is nice.
Seems like she has that looks like it has to be a trigger attack, or a special attack, I should be saying, where she has a blast in front of her that pushes the enemy
This is
back.
one of the few characters we saw that can actually heal other people.
Yeah.
Now this game
She also
here, this
moves
is
pretty
actually from
fast.
something called Infinity Trials. Can you explain what those are, Reeves?
Okay. I don't want. I just talked about not making this video long, but there's Gwen and Storm in this video, or in this little snippet here. So I'm gonna try to not overanalyze, but at the same time definitely overanalyze this to see what their gameplay is like. We've got Storm doing something already. Let's take a look here.
Infinity Trials are kind of like side missions where you can go and farm experience and items. They take
She can fly, obviously. Looks like she had wind bolts and lightning bolts. I don't know if that's her basic attack or if that's a thing that you can sort of, if you keep pressing the button after you use a trigger attack. For certain people like Deadpool and Ultimate Alliance 1, I remember he just used his guns and spam them until he either stopped at a certain point or ran out of MP. I don't want to call it MP because it's not called that, but you know what I'm talking about. The blue bar. Until that runs out. So it might be that, or maybe it's part of her basic attack. It's kind of difficult to tell.
Levels that you've already
we got Daredevil doing stuff.
You can play them with different characters or with different modifiers to the gameplay, like defeat a certain number of enemies.
Got an ice field from Storm. Looks like Gwen is swinging around for an AoE attack that affects enemies.
Yeah, so the ones we saw are like Wave and Countdown, also like Ability Trials.
Gwen has a ground pound attack where she jumps up,
but
pulls
like
herself
Wave,
down
it's
to
like,
the
hey,
ground.
defeat 200 enemies.
Oh god, there's Black Widow too. I gotta focus on everyone, man. Wow, we got Black Widow. Never mind. We don't have Black Widow. She's not here. I'm just kidding. Black Widow's gone.
Where your base attacks don't do as much damage, but like Wave, it's like.
Okay, Black Widow has her shock gauntlet things. Okay, it's close enough to the camera. 100% confirmation here, ladies and gentlemen. It's Hydra. We already knew, but I sure as hell didn't.
Hey, 200 enemies.
So it looks like that's a beam, or maybe it's just an immediate shock thing in front of her. I can't tell. It's too short to even tell. Wolverine over here doing Wolverine stuff.
On Avengers Tower.
Slashing the hell out of everybody.
Hey, you have,
Insight.
What was it, 2 minutes or 3 minutes to
this
go?
This is, yet again, this this Ronin boss here, fighting with this same team, I think, actually. Scarlet, Groot, Kamala, and Hulk.
Chapter 1 and defeat Ronan the Accuser.
Right.
Ronan is just eating the hits, because that's what he does. He's stunned, however, after eating too many hits.
Menu about halfway through the game's story.
Black Widow uses her guns in the same way that Deadpool does.
You also gain time.
And Infinity Trials unlock.
Looks like that was a part of her basic attack, and I think she actually did a thing where she dashed away right after doing an attack to use her guns.
About halfway through the game's story, but you'll encounter the equivalent earlier on in the story by exploring environments.
Okay, what the hell? Who does she team up with? Black Widow just teamed up with someone, jumped in the air, and shot the hell out of everyone.
The equivalent earlier on.
But I don't know who they teamed up with. Is it Cap?
The story by exploring environments.
Or maybe she just did her own attack. It's so hard to tell. Because the yellow burst is what indicates the special move from what I'm observing. But it's so hard to tell when it's someone doing their own special move or when it's the team one. So I think that might have just been Black Widow's own thing, where she jumps in the air, shoots the hell out of everyone. It was very cool looking. She did that, I think, right after...
And Infinity Trials unlock on the main
right after the basic attack. She can jump back
the equivalent
and then just does that.
Story by exploring environments.
Oh, she also throws out some grenades around her, which is... That's a reference to something, but I don't remember what. Some other game where she did that, if I'm not mistaken. But she throws out the bombs, shoots them all. Everyone dies.
You'll find things called Infinity Rifts, where it's basically the same challenge.
Was she doing it with?
It's fun to see.
No, that's just... Whoa. Big shield. He has a big shield. Why is his shield so big? He has a huge shield. Anyways, stuff was happening here. I think it wasn't Captain Marvel. It wasn't Captain Marvel. It was her own move. Okay, it was her own move.
Infinity Rifts, where it's basically the same challenge.
She has an attack where she jumps down and shocks the ground, it looks like.
It's fun to see Captain America.
Oh my lord, his shield. Look at the size of that shield.
Also, it's just weird comparing
absolute
the tone
unit
of the writing here versus like the MCU. Cause
so
Captain
he can
America
actually deflect bullets, what seems like
basically
for an extended period of time. He can deflect these bullets back at the enemies, or
also it's just
maybe that's Black Widow shooting at the shield, and he's reflecting those hits in the way that Iron Man would reflect off of Cap's shield or Wolverine's claws, like I keep mentioning. Again, some AIM soldiers in the background. Captain America's big old shield. Don't know why it's that big, but it sure is.
Weird comparing the tone of the writing here versus like
reflecting
the MCU.
Those bullets back.
Captain America is very dorky in this game, right? Like you defeat a boss and he goes, "Let freedom ring," that type of stuff.
Oh yeah.
So he has, I think that's his basic attack, where he
a boss.
in
Let's
one way or
bring
another, he throws the shield
that type of stuff.
at an
very
enemy
noble.
and
We don't
just
have footage of her,
ends
but
their
the
life
Wasp is
by
in the
throwing
game.
them off.
She has an interesting move where she actually will shrink, and she can also make giant candy fall out of the sky, which is a little.
Captain Marvel also has a large beam that you can control.
And the Wasp inspired. Obviously, like the old Ultimate Alliance games, as you progress through
What
the
is
story, it'll
happening
unlock
here?
even more characters,
Oh,
new characters
Daredevil.
along the way, as it kind of intertwines all these Marvel scenarios together, like Daredevil.
Daredevil's
Welcome to follow me, but watch your step.
So gameplay-wise,
Daredevil's
you can
doing
use L
Daredevil
and a direction
stuff.
to roll in the game, which is very nice. There's an emote system. You have 4 options there if you want to communicate loosely without using Nintendo voice chat. There you go.
Hulk approves.
Separate from the old games, though, you can't pick up enemies anymore and throw them around.
ah. Ah, that sucks. Ah, because you could sometimes just throw enemies off of platforms and kill them instantly in certain scenarios. So that's unfortunate, but either way, it's not too bad of a
To knock enemies
thing to
off
take
the
out.
edge, which I really loved doing in those old games.
In
Yeah, like
gameplay,
you
use
just
synergy
mentioned.
attacks. You can also use Ultimate Alliance
So this is a synergy attack with someone. Can't tell who. Is it? Maybe.
extreme attacks, where if
Whoa! What was Black Widow doing there? Hold on. Black Widow just like
use synergy
slid.
attacks, you
Hold on.
can
Look
also
at Black Widow.
use Ultimate Alliance
She
extreme
just.
attacks, where if everybody
Okay. No acknowledging the glitches. It's in process. It's in development. Anyways,
in gameplay, you can
Team
use
attack
synergy
here.
attacks. You can also use Ultimate Alliance extreme attacks, where if everybody uses their
okay. No, that was
special
just Caps by himself. Still don't know if this is Ultron or not. It's a robot.
L and R at the same time. This screen will be chaotic as all hell.
But it does massive damage.
Thank you, Kazura.
And I swear to God. Scarlet Witch. There's too many characters. Scarlet Witch. Her ultimate seems to lift the enemies into the air.
But it does massive damage.
Yep, it sure does. That's her attack.
you,
And then has a big shockwave that sends them flying. That attack also took Ronin out of his invulnerability
So a lot of
state
this footage,
there.
you notice the camera's a little bit closer up. That's the heroic camera. You can use that if you're just looking at your own screen. You're not all playing on the same screen together. And so with that, you also get the ability to lock on, which you trigger by hitting the right stick. So just
Gamora
bring the
is
camera
very
a little bit
fast.
Closer. And actually, it's the preferred way to play for me. So it's that tough thing of like the best way to play, I think, is going to be local wireless, so everybody can use heroic camera, but then you have to buy 4 copies of the game.
Or you could make your friend buy one.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
There are different group bonuses if you partner different people together. So stuff like, okay, you have the Defenders, Heavy Hitters, Women of Marvel, Original Avengers, Wisecracking Warriors, which is my favorite, or Midnight Suns, which people online are very curious about, and we are as well.
And those can like double up. So if you have like a couple of wisecrackers and they're also part of the like Spider-Man universe, you get
Yet again, I think this is a
Double up, so if
reflection
you have,
attack
like,
here. She's actually, instead of just shooting the bolts out, she's actually shooting a direct beam at Cap's shield, and that's reflecting little bolts out against the enemies. I was very focused on the gameplay. This is interesting to me. I actually forgot to talk about something. To the point that I'm not even going to spend time on it and try to remember,
that's
because
true.
it'll take too long.
There are different group bonuses if you partner different people together. So
I think
like,
this is
okay,
it.
You have the Defenders, Heavy Hitters.
Yeah, that was it. I think it looks like Black Widow shocked Wolverine's claws, and then he actually got the ability to stun state the enemies. I can't tell,
Women
but
of
I think that's
Marvel,
what's
Original
happening.
Avengers, Wisecracking Warriors, which is my favorite, or Midnight Suns, which people
Again,
online
just
are very
Black
curious
Widow's
about,
solo
and we are
ult.
as well.
and those can like double up. So if you have like a couple
Captain
of
Marvel
wisecrackers
and Captain
they're
America.
also part of the like Spider-Man universe, you get both bonuses.
Right.
Captain Marvel looks
also,
like
if you
she
want-
has some sort of buffing, like ultimate
Spider-Man universe.
thing. I don't really know exactly what it is, but it looks like she has some sort of a buff that's like a power surge for her. Kind of looks like Super Saiyan. I didn't say that though.
First, you get
I'm not a
both
nerd, I
bonuses.
swear.
Right. Also, if you want to get into the RPG stuff,
And it is
on the main
temporary,
menu,
as you
there's
can see. It
the lab,
went away after
and
some
in there
time.
you have a choice between choosing Alliance enhancements or manage your ISO 8. And
Okay,
Alliance
so that was Gwen and Daredevil right there. Daredevil spun around his batons, and Gwen
There's the lab,
shot
and
webs
in there, you
that
have a choice
stuck
between choosing Alliance
the enemies
enhancements or
together like that.
manage your ISO 8. And Alliance enhancements is kind of like a sphere grid from Final Fantasy X, where it's kind of a team-wide skill tree where you can, increase ability damage by 4%, those types of perks. Whereas managing ISO 8, that's like for individual power-ups.
Daredevil has some very
items you
interesting
equip,
attacks that
will give you
sort
a
of
boost.
hits the enemy away.
Spider-Man did all the quipping.
So you level up with experience, obviously. Every 10 levels, you get a new ability. As far as we know, it maxes out at 4 abilities.
You can customize which attack is on which button, but you only ever have those 4 attacks.
Right. There's also ability orbs, which allow you to
I don't
power up
think
like specific abilities.
I don't think that's what happened in the first game, right? I'm pretty sure in the first game, you unlocked more than 4 attacks, but you only had 4 slots, so you had to customize them in that way. Hopefully that didn't change, and that was just how it was in the little bit that they got to see. Hopefully you'll have more than just 4 basic attacks that you start out with, and you can customize your loadout to what fits you best. But if not, again, not too huge of a deal. But if I'm not mistaken, in Ultimate Alliance, hold on, wait,
that you want to use
don't start yet. In Ultimate Alliance 1, that was how you did things, was after you leveled up and got your new attacks, you would have to arrange them into the 4 slots, choosing from your
So
arsenal.
you level
there.
up with experience, obviously. Every 10 levels, you get a new ability. As far as we know, it maxes out at 4 abilities.
You can customize which attack is on which button. but
I'm
you only
wondering
have
if
those
that
4
cap
attacks.
thing, I'm starting to wonder if that is a team attack or like a tag attack, or if that's just his ability in which he can put up their shield and reflect bolts like that. I'm wondering if that's or maybe it pertains to both. Who knows?
Right. There's also ability orbs, which allow you to power up like specific abilities that you want to use more often than other ones.
Well, thanks for watching this video preview. Stay tuned next week where we'll have a full week of character profiles, one every day.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Alright, so that is all that is for right now. I think this is actually, from what they were talking about, just listening to what they were saying, I think this is actually the stuff that was in the article that I already talked about. So this was really just to see the gameplay itself. But that is it for my extremely, probably long, and overly detailed analysis and reaction to this, new exclusive Ultimate Alliance 3 gameplay. Again, enormous shouts to Game Informer for providing this content, for having the ability to, show off this game. It's very cool, especially to me. As I said, this is a very important, interesting game to me that I'm very excited about. So make sure that you stick with Game Informer for more exclusive content on the game. Make sure to visit their website right here to learn more information for yourself. And of course, like I said before, all 4 of the videos that I just watched will be in the description below for you to watch for yourself. But let me know what you guys are thinking and how you're feeling about Ultimate Alliance 3 based on what they've shown off here today. I, again, am very excited, very interested in this game. Cannot wait to get my hands on it myself and play it for myself and see what it's like. See how it compares to Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2. I'm sure it'll be just as great as those games were, and I'll love it just as much as I love those games. Anyways, this video has gone on way too long, but if you are still here, still watching, at the end of this video, I thank you very, very much for checking this one out. I will be, if there's any more if there's any more info and any more gameplay, I'll be sure to maybe not do a reaction just like this, but I'll be sure to report on that stuff as well. And yeah, that's it. Thank you guys very, very, very much for watching this video. Be sure to check out Game Informer and, of course, my channel, because I and Game Informer, way before me, will be reporting on any and everything that comes out about this game, because I'm very excited for it. Anyways, drawn out outro. Thank you very much for watching. My name is JaangoPops, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.